Hi everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another video. And today I'm talking about F1 testing. And let's get into all the big talking points of first 3 days of testing. Of course, guys, don't forget to subscribe to support me. Okay, first 3 days of testing are done, and boy, there are a lot of talking points already. There is a lot of controversy, especially concerning Mercedes and their new dual axis steering, or DAS. It's actually, first to clear some things, it's incredible design idea. It's crazy to think that it hasn't been actually tried before to get the tires upright during a straight section. Hands down to Mercedes. Well done. This is just another reason why they're so dominant in this hybrid era. Lots of people saying it's illegal. It was actually deemed legal by the FIA, and it should be legal. Some people have been stating the Article 10.2.3 that says that no adjustments may be made to any suspension system while the car is in motion. But this system appears to be adjusting the toe via changes to the steering geometry rather than changes to the suspension. And that's the reason why it is legal and it's not breaching any rules. It's innovations like this that make this a very hard competition, and this is very core of the sport. Ferrari and all the other teams are worried about this. They're not happy, but there is a lot of praise from the paddock. Daniel Ricciardo, well, he praised Mercedes for their innovation, and also some midfield teams. They said that they just can't justify the cost of developing this system, this new system from Mercedes, so they're not going to go in that direction. That's for sure. Now let's see some stats from the testing. Yeah, top 10 fastest laps. Valtteri Bottas was the quickest, and Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, Mercedes could be very dominant this year, although it's still early. It's still the first testing, but they really seem to have upper hand here. Number of laps, Mercedes again. Lots of laps from Lewis Hamilton, from Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and actually all the teams, all the drivers did a fair amount of laps, and it was not the case in some previous years in testing, but this year they really don't have many days to test, and that's why they're using those days that they have as much as they can. Then we have number of laps per team and per engine supplier. Here we also see that Mercedes did most laps, but differences are not very big. So we see Alfa Romeo really did a good job along with McLaren. There is not much separating the midfield in this respect. Now let's go team by team. I already did say something about Mercedes, but they are the winners of this week's testing. What is obvious is that, well, the 6 consecutive championship doubles haven't restricted the team creative flair, and this shows how you should run a team. But it's still early days, as I said. It's been a good first week for them. Bottas also praised the team and said that it's a good feeling in the car. Hamilton said it was a solid first week. What about Ferrari? Ferrari was also a big talking point of this testing. They were not focusing on performance so much, but there are some worrying signs. Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto says that the others are faster than us at the moment. Well, it's not good if a team boss says that. Although we have heard some similar words from Toto Wolff from last year's testing, but they have a different car, and I don't know how will they tackle Mercedes and their development. Vettel said that he was pleased by new car and the direction in which team are going, and that it's definitely a step up from last year's car. How good it is, they will not know until Melbourne, of course, but Vettel said that they have a clear plan what they want to achieve this year with this new car, and they are going in good direction. But what about the Red Bull? Red Bull, and how far are they behind? The timesheets don't necessarily reflect it, but Red Bull arguably enjoyed their best start to winter testing of the hybrid era this week, and Honda certainly did. So, in terms of mileage, they were the first behind Mercedes, and that was actually the team's main focus. And Verstappen confirmed that. He said it was not about lap times, implying that it was about mileage, this first test. But also a big talking point was Racing Point. There was a story that lots of stories that they are a copy of Mercedes, and it caught an eye of the paddock. Racing Point, they have admitted that they have taken inspiration from the world champions, and as it is tried and trusted concept, and no-brainer in many regards for an outfit that wants to return to the head of the midfield this year, and I think they can do it. I mean, Racing Point, the budget is getting bigger and bigger. New deals coming up. Lawrence Stroll as their as the owner, de facto owner. So yeah, I think Racing Point really is going to be a big threat to McLaren this year. And talking about McLaren, they were competitive. They did fair amount of laps, and they said that they graded their test as 10 out of 10. So confidence from within seems to step partly from the fact that they have a car which they believe they can develop a lot over the season. And also Andreas Seidel said that it was great to see that they could do so many laps. And he concluded that reliability is great, and he thinks also that this is the far best start for McLaren into a winter testing campaign since many years. AlphaTauri also stood out. They were quite good and had no particular issues, and Quiet and Gasly brought some good feedback to the engineers. Also did some good mileage and some good lap times. Alfa Romeo, they were really good during testing, did many laps, and also some very quick times. Raikkonen did a very good lap on the second day of testing, and Alfa seemed to be preparing for better season than last year, but it's not going to be easy because midfield is really tight. Renault, on the other hand, they also did some fast laps, but they are really enigma. They could be really fast, or they could bottle it like last year. But the car seems to have a really good aerodynamic solutions, especially the front wing. At the other end of the spectrum, Haas didn't show their hands at all. Wasn't They didn't do so many laps, so Haas didn't impress at all. They didn't do as many laps as they should, and also, of course, Grosjean had a little incident. So yeah, seems like not much has changed, but they they do have some similarities with Ferrari. Will that help them? Well, we cannot know. But what about Williams? Williams, well, they were a distant back runner in 2019, but testing seemed pretty good for them. It was an encouraging week, and George Russell and Latifi did a lot of laps. There was no technical issues. There were no reliability issues. So yeah, all in all, it was fairly good testing for Williams. Okay, that was all. Let me know what you think, and see you on the recap of the next 3 days of testing.